We're going to start our meeting tonight, Monday, July 27th. We're going to start it with our investment committee. Please come on up. Adam, all the microphones are on?
Yep.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
How's everybody?
Ah, the beard. Being over in, was it
Join the club.
being over in Italy or wherever you were, did that come back with the beard, or did it?
I was traveling, and I was decided to give it a break.
There you go.
The shaving part. So the investment committee has a recommendation that we want to make to the board of selectmen relative to the selection of the investment manager that manages the OPEB account and other accounts. And just a quick overview of the process. By the way, this is Carol Lynch, Gene Trim, I'm Mark Madden. Joe's on the committee. Michael has been very helpful, also on the committee. So we met with several different prospective money managers, including Eastern Bank. We met with Bartholomew, our current investment manager, and we met with Cambridge Bank and Trust. We reached out also to Fidelity and Eaton Vance, and talked a little bit about PRIM, which is or PRIT, which is the state pension fund manager. All of these different all these managers have different approaches. Our current manager picks mutual funds. Bartholomew recommends a mixture of mutual funds which meet the requirements for the OPEB asset choices. They charge us a management fee to do that. And then, of course, embedded in the mutual funds, there are marketing fees, which are not as easy to find, but they're there. And we figure that sort of all in, the cost of the services that are provided by Bartholomew are higher than the costs that are provided by some of the other managers we met with because of this fee structure that we understand.
Significantly?
Probably 50 basis points. Someplace like 0.5%, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, in that range?
It's basically a fee on top of a fee.
Right. Yeah. So we looked at a couple of different criteria. We looked at cost. We looked at recent, over some relevant time period, recent investment results for these various managers. And we looked at investment style. And investment style sort of pertains to three different choices that we had. PRIT, you've got a pooled vehicle. Pooled vehicle means that PRIT has a great big pile of assets, and individual towns and participants in that pool get a slice of the pie. That slice is undifferentiated relative to the needs of the particular town or participant, but it's a pooled approach. So and actually PRIT has got pretty good investment result numbers, even though they use that approach.
Is that an acronym for something? Or what is it?
Pension Retirement Investment Trust.
Pension Reserves Investment Management Board.
There you go.
Okay.
So the second style that we looked at was the style that I described that Bartholomew has, which is to be a picker of other pickers, right? A mutual fund has got a whole set of portfolio managers that pick stocks for the mutual fund. Bartholomew's looking down and picking individual mutual funds. And then so that's kind of a mutual fund approach is what I guess I'd call that. And then the third approach.
So does Bartholomew just pick what they pick for Dedham and just give a, or do they actually individualize it for West Newbury? Could you tell, or?
Yeah, they actually don't even technically pick the funds. They sit down with the town and say, what's your investment objective going to be? So if you say it's going to be balanced 50-50, then they go to Commonwealth Financial. Commonwealth Financial says, okay, these are the funds that we buy for a 50-50.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's so far removed from
So
active
they're not,
management.
they're not even doing that. Okay, okay.
Right, but they're charging. And then the third approach, we talked about sort of the pooled approach and then this approach that Gene just described. And then the third approach is really an individual stock picker and bond picker who builds an account which is specific to the needs of the town. So I believe did Eastern have that approach, or is Eastern?
They do too, yeah.
So as between the managers that we talked to, Cambridge has the best results, the best investment results. Bartholomew had, I believe, was in the bottom of the people that we
For results.
For
Yeah.
results. Cambridge also had a fee structure which was below that of the Bartholomew fee structure, the way we analyze it. I don't know if, I think they were probably roughly equal to.
Yeah, they did a blended rate, I think 80 on the OPEB, and then on the cash kind of portion, I think it was 20 or 30.
Yeah, very low fees on cash.
Yeah.
So looking at all that, we thought, we don't really think a pooled approach is what is best for the town to management this OPEB. So we've kind of ruled out PRIT. We thought that this picker of mutual funds or picker of, director of mutual funds has got a high fee structure and not the best results. We took Bartholomew off the list. That kind of left Eastern and Cambridge. As between the two of those, we thought Cambridge had better capability. And that was based on their presentation and their interactions with us.
Results, yeah.
And Eastern's fee structure was similar to that of a retail client.
Right, it was
They
like
were-
a personal.
They were very high.
Yeah, it was ridiculously high. They didn't even show us the institutional fee schedule, which was unusual.
Okay.
So our recommendation is that the selectmen do whatever they need to do to empower Mike, who, by the way, I should just mention, we had a unanimous vote of the Investment Advisory Committee with respect to this recommendation about Cambridge. Mike, sort of in an abundance of caution, which we all applaud, abstained from the vote because he's going to have to work with them. And he thought it would be a better idea if he just didn't vote. So we thought that was fine. So we did reach a unanimous conclusion that we'd like to recommend that you go ahead with Cambridge for the management of the OPED.
Have they done, I assume they have, municipal accounts and
Yes.
stuff? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And they have we were scrambling around a little bit beforehand trying to remember what the assets under management are, but it's in excess of $1 billion. This is not a little money management. This isn't some corner shop. It's a well-established operation.
Yeah, the long track record.
Yeah, I think they've got, web reporting so that you can get your statements whenever you want them.
Yeah.
I won't mention who this was, but one of the other managers, when we asked them to give us information about how they had performed through the crash, they weren't very forthcoming they weren't very transparent about that. And,
So
like,
obviously they might not have done too well.
yeah, and we know from other sources that Cambridge remained fully invested during the downturn, which is the right strategy, as opposed to running and hiding,
Okay.
which would have cost everybody a lot of money. So that's our report.
Excellent. It sounds like it's a great report and it's been very well thought out and done. But I just have a couple of questions. How did you come down with Eastern, Cambridge, and at the end? Now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, just really go after.
First, we had to determine who
Could handle it?
municipal money. It was an established track record of doing it, so it led us to those firms.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just all, Carol and I know of the reputations of the institutions, and then we wanted that style of individual management with individual stocks and bonds. So that just kind of kept honing it down. And then when they presented, their research capabilities were really impressive, especially on the bond side, that they do in-house. And that they'll help a lot in the process of revising the investment policy statement that the town has. So lots of added services, but that's how we kind of, and we through Fidelity and Eaton Vance, because they're in that market too, I think we're just too small for them.
Now, what do we need to do? Have you researched that yet, Mike? What do we need to do to Mike, yeah, what do we need to do, if anything, to get this ball rolling, so to speak?
I guess if you accept their recommendation and have a vote, I will just
Get the ball rolling.
reach out to Cambridge and we'll, reach out to Bartholomew and sign the paperwork over that gives Cambridge the right to take the assets, whether it's in kind or to liquidate them and move them over.
Do you have any questions?
Well, I just want, obviously, there's no capital gains ramifications, but what about the timing of moving
Good
them?
question. Are there any
You think we
penalties?
should-
How long will
You
it
think,
take, or-
should we?
You mean penalties or investment or
No,
is there
well, there might be
time?
that if they're mutual funds and
Yeah.
we've only had them
That's
for
a
a
good
short
question.
time, that kind of
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
That's a good question.
So, the securities that we have invested in through Bartholomew and that are in the OPEB are custodied. They're actually custodied by somebody besides Bartholomew. And this is true of probably everybody's investment portfolio. It's not at Merrill Lynch or Fidelity or one of these other places. It's custodied by another organization, somebody like Bank of New York or State Street might be a custody provider. Those organizations are very used to transferring securities back and forth between accounts. And there's simply a form that Mike needs to submit. You can actually submit it to Cambridge. Cambridge can reach out to Bartholomew and say, we've been authorized to move these, and it's an electronic transfer process. It'll take a matter of days.
Yeah, but I think the further to go with his question was more that he understands that it's all going to work. His question was timing of it. So if we're going to move, and because I have no clue, if we're going to move funds next week, would it be more advantageous to wait to move those funds in 3 months because they're in a certain fund and you're going to get a better return? Do you know what I'm saying?
Right, Cambridge
I
will
might
look
not
at
even
the
be
holdings.
asking the question.
That's what I was,
correctly.
Right,
Yeah, but that's
they'll
what
look at
he's
the
that's what
holdings
he's
and
looking
say,
for.
Transfer that in kind because it might be that there's a back-end load in the fund.
that's what I mean,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
So Cambridge could look at that and say, you know what, just have them transfer over in kind, and we can just kind of ride out. We'll see if it's cost effective, or they will.
So we would ask you to
They'll
look
bring
at
the
that
actual
aspect of it.
security over, they
Absolutely.
won't sell
Yeah,
it.
we
They'll
wouldn't
bring it
like
over.
it. So.
Okay, they won't sell it, okay, oh, gotcha, okay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
They'll
That's what
just
most
bring
of
it
these
over and
transfers
then
are.
think about it.
Oh,
Oh, okay, well, that answers the
So
question.
it's a
yeah.
transfer, not a
Yeah.
sale.
Right,
Okay.
Right,
Yeah, just
okay.
transferring from one transfer.
And then they might sell it in January or
Right.
something, yeah,
Exactly.
or whatever, yeah.
Whenever's the
Yeah,
best
or
they-
not, yeah.
Right.
Whenever they feel the best
If
Yeah.
there's no-
return would be.
Since there are no tax ramifications for the town, and if there are no fee or other expense-related ramifications, my expectation would be that they'd sell it all and redeploy it in their own investment strategy.
Because they would feel comfortable with that and they're getting good returns and they want to do what they do.
Gotcha,
well.
okay.
And I misspoke when I said over $1 billion. It's $2.3 billion they have under management.
Is that considered pretty good?
It's a pretty good sized operation.
Any more?
They've been in business since 1890.
Okay. Hopefully they stay in business a lot longer.
I'm good.
I mean,
Yeah.
you want to make it?
Sure.
Please?
I move to direct the finance director/treasurer to appoint Cambridge Trust Company as the investment advisor for the town of West Newbury to replace assets currently held by Bartholomew.
Second? Any more discussion and or questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
This is,
I'd like to add one thing.
it's kind of exciting.
We're very fortunate to have two investment professionals involved in this whole process because it's been very helpful.
We kind of a third one, too.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we have you, I think we
You're
have
not
three.
exactly.
I mean, I don't know if a past bank president qualifies.
That's probably a disqualification.
Yeah.
Um,
No, but this is exciting because this is actually kind of why we
Right.
formed this committee.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Now, not to put a question in your head, but you had mentioned a couple of months ago about our pension, unfunded pension liabilities, or some
Mhm.
kind of question like that.
No, that's all right. We can't.
Well, there was a discussion at the investment committee meeting
Yeah.
about that.
Okay.
So,
You want to talk about it, but it's
Well,
not on
just
the
I'll make-
agenda, but it's kind of,
I'll do
well,
that.
it's investment committee, yeah.
Yes, it is on the agenda.
real quick, so we're the only town in the Commonwealth with a fully funded OPEB,
Correct.
which took a lot of foresight, and it's really to our
Yep.
credit that we're doing that, and it sort of speaks to the town's financial condition, good financial condition.
Over many years, long
Yeah.
before Mike, long before,
Yeah.
you know, Tracy started that, and long before even Tracy, because we had good, sound things way back years and
Right.
years and years.
So the unfunded pension liability is about $5 million, according to Mike. And that's, I think if we were, I don't know how that looks relative to towns that are our size and have our
Mhm.
financial condition. But we have had some discussions about whether or not using Cambridge, we could defease some of that. We could essentially set aside some dollars in our budget as a long-term, you know, not do it all at once, but slowly and over time, make contributions that would be managed by Cambridge that would offset that liability. The big benefit of doing that is the rating agencies would look at us and go, You guys don't have $5 million worth of liabilities if we had set aside that money.
Mhm.
It's an obligation which is that, you know, it's the town's obligation. These are pension liabilities that we've got to fulfill, so.
So what type of investment, hypothetically, if we did want, if we put money aside, like Lark said, every year, what are we talking about? That would make, you know, anything significant, you know what I mean? We're looking at $100,000, $200,000?
Anything would help, I mean.
Well, I understand that.
You're talking 2035.
And they're gonna probably push that out even more.
Yep.
The state keeps on pushing, it's been
No,
pushed out.
they just did, so it's
They-
unlikely they'll do it again.
Well, they pushed it out
It
twice,
can
I
go
think,
to-
since
It can go to
I've been a
2040
selectman.
right now. It can go to 2040. We're at 2035. There's many towns that are in the 2025, 2030 range, and a lot of them are at 2040.
So, make me understand this. So we have to 2035 to fully fund that.
Right.
Okay. What will our liability be in 2035? It's at 5 million now. 5 million now.
It'll be paid off. Technically, in a perfect world, we'll be fully funded by 2035.
I understand that, but if we don't do anything, you know what I mean? Is there multipliers in there?
There's everything in there. The actuarial is just an assumption that says if you make these scheduled payments,
Yeah.
and we come up and make the return on our investments, and the people live to what they say, the mortality tables, etc.,
Mhm.
in 2035, we'll no longer have the unfunded payment
Mhm.
that we send over to Essex Regional. We'll have what they call the normal cost, which is the existing people in the system will have their payment. You can kind of figure it, you know, our $560,000 payment will probably be cut in half. So we'll just have to pay half that going forward.
After we satisfy the 5 million.
Exactly. So if we pay, you know, if we fortunate and we throw an extra 100,000 and we have some good returns and we look at it, and over 10 or 12 years, that could be 2 or 3 million. We could actually start, you know, drawing down
That
on
payment.
that, giving it to Essex, because hopefully they'll be on board with that.
Now, legally, we can do that?
Yes.
Why not?
I mean, it's a budgeting question to think about, you know.
Yeah, but
There's
I
lots
would-
of places to put money for the
I-
town.
Yeah, exactly. But I would rather take $100,000 a year out of free cash and do it to that, and show the people the returns that we're getting, because these aren't going to go away, not like the Olympics, you know.
The liability's
there-
not going away.
Yeah, and then it would just show everybody that we're. I mean, we have to have forethought. Somebody had forethought before, and we planned. So we're the only town who's funded on the OPEB side. Yeah. What do you think?
There's nothing to, I think it's something you want to study. I think it's something you want
Right.
to look at. I don't think you make a decision, let's put $100,000 into it.
No.
But let's.
No. I'm just saying. What do you think? I mean, I don't even know. So, like, what could you get? I mean, when we study it, and I just picked $100,000. It could be $50,000. Who knows? It is what it is at the end of the day. Or we, whatever.
I mean, part of it's what kind of budget year we're having that year also.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe how much money came back out of free cash the previous year.
Or that.
We put a percent, you know, how much money came back out of free cash that was dumped into free cash from the previous year. We say kind of a like, hey, listen, let's take 25% of that.
Yeah, I think you look at it in the context
Something,
of
I mean,
the overall budget, and you
Mhm.
see whether or not you can afford to do it. You might think about having a policy that says, you know, if we have this, all these other things are taken care of relative to the town's budget, and there's free cash sufficient to do this, we should look at it.
At a certain percentage over
Yeah.
our budget,
Yeah.
we should definitely look at it.
And Cambridge would love to have more money to manage,
Yeah, that's what they do.
so.
Excellent. Thank you. This is great.
Okay,
Good news. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for
you.
coming out on a summer night.
sure.
And hopefully, guys, you have a good summer. Rest of it, that is.
Thank you.
Town website discussion.
I just thought we should, the other.
Keep this on the forefront.
What's that? Just to keep
Talking?
us up to date, yeah. So, we've had some discussion, we're going to, the plan was to keep our virtual town same people,
Mm-hmm.
and they have run some of the best websites in the award winners and the really ones that we've looked at for small towns and big towns, and they have been involved in those, and we were impressed by. We actually met with the CEO of the company. He came out to talk to us, but the issue was also how do we actually, once we get we make the thing, but then it has to work, and somebody has to put data
It has to
in.
be maintained.
Yeah,
And
that's the
that's the
problem.
crux of the problem. And so
I'm sure Mike
we-
would love to get rid of that.
we
No, yeah, it has to, it can't
we
be Mike.
thought that, and also so that it's not a critical thing, but say everything is in the same font and everything looks the same, because it gets entered by either one or a very small number of people. And we thought really the only way to do this is to have a, because there's so many, it's not good if we don't have up-to-date, if we don't have up-to-date minutes in there, if it says there's supposed to be minutes and we don't have minutes at all, that's not a good thing. If
Whatever it says,
agendas aren't
should
put
have
in
it.
there, exactly. And so it's all about we can build the perfect website, but unless we have a body or bodies to do that, and
So did you
we
come up
thought
with
a
any
dedicated person that it's not going to happen. So that it's not going to be good. So we reached out to them, and I don't know whether Mike has heard back from them, but to the point of, do they have any ideas of what have other towns done in terms of finding a person or persons that can do that for a prospective town? Because somebody that's doing their job for the town now, they can't drop that and be the data entry person. It's a
Yep.
lot of work.
Or it's like an add-on to their position, maybe 2 hours a week that they dedicate doing that.
Yeah, I would think it's going to be a lot more than 2 hours a week. When you think about all the minutes and somebody has to also be the nag to say,
Right.
such and such committee, you haven't sent your minutes in, we need them. They have to be able to do that too.
That's probably going to be the worst part.
Yeah.
Really.
So Mike, have they got back to
I've
us at
actually
all? or-
spoken to them a couple of times.
Okay,
And he was actually gonna get back to me today because he felt that his support people would have better ideas. But he says what they do is they offer their webmaster services more as a backup. So we would have a primary person, and they could back up that person in the event they were away or they needed something else to do. But he was gonna get back to me. It's been a little slow, I think, over the summer of, reaching back. He was gonna get back to me today on some ideas of hours the position would take and what other towns have done in our situation.
see, we also sort of wanted to see if they would give us some help in terms of even developing a job description so that we could, this person needs to be able to do A, B, and C.
Yeah, I got you. Like Hamilton or somebody like that, Franklin, we have Franklin, Mass, and
Right.
they seem to have a position like that. Why don't you contact the person there, and yeah. So we're not reinventing the wheel.
Exactly, yeah.
That sounds good.
Right. and
Now,
then-
So
could
the other
we-
thing is, can we with our, this would be a personnel expenditure versus an equipment expenditure, would that fit in with the,
Cable?
yeah,
That was my next question. I want to sit down with you this week, if
Okay.
not, or either over the phone. I want to get a better handle on the money in that account and how it comes in and stuff like that.
Okay,
Because we're dipping into it properly, but we're doing a lot more things. You know what I mean? That the money's starting to be drawn out of there more because we're trying to create more programming. We have people going over We have volunteers and people going over to the library, taping things. We're gonna start doing the bandstand, taping all the concerts and putting them on for people. You know, the movie night thing that we did, the outreach, the more community stuff that was very successful actually. So I want to get a better handle on it. And really, we
Okay.
need to do a real good budget on that, and I'm going to need some help on that.
Sure.
Get some ideas. I'm going to do a local farming segment this year. So, so we're trying to get more local programming.
Right,
On
so
our
do we have
station.
like producers and stuff?
Yep.
Okay, good.
And volunteers and
Right.
people who edit it and people who, you know, paid for it and edit down the school committee ones and put them over here and get them on our things and edit these things, go out, film the Memorial Day parade
Right,
and edit that down, put it on. Going to tape the bandstand things from now on every Thursday and put them up. Just going over to the library, they had a musician and did stuff like that, and that was taped and put on the thing. Garden Club, and they have a great speaker. They tend to get back in the fall. We've hooked up with them, and they have a great speaker.
Right.
Go over there and tape them, but see, that's going to start taking more out of it than it's been really taken. So we can incorporate that into it. I think the website portion of it is very important, and I think we can do it. Like a 5-hour-week position,
right.
Mike? Don't give me any bad news. It's summertime.
I'd like to throw someone under the bus as a suggestion. A potential candidate, obviously, haven't asked her, you haven't asked her, but someone who might be in a position to help would be maybe, if you had a little bit of expanded hours, would be someone like Jean Nelson. She's already familiar with the system. She works with it. She worked with it pretty well. She kept the planning board very much up to date and that segment of it.
Mhm.
And now that she's reduced to only
CPA
C-
hours.
CPA hours,
Could be. But what we need to do is get it, instead of we get the person, let's get the job description and get the person. and-
I don't think it's really.
I knew you were going to say that. But
I don't think it's really going to be that difficult a thing. It's just you need to have a process in place where everybody understands, okay, these are the responsibilities to get this information to the person. And
I
then,
understand.
you know. it
It's
goes
going to be
in.
hard for the first 6 months.
Not even that. It'll
No,
be-
but you know how it is with people.
Mhm.
I'm not even saying it's hard because it's this town. It's just people, you know.
A committee that only meets twice a year or something,
Yeah, you know, they're just not. Or, you know, I've gone into your office many times and nobody gives the minutes, it seems like. And, you know, but so people just, because there's nobody telling them to do it
Mhm.
or whatever. And they might even have them all done and approved and they're sitting in their office, but they're not properly done with you. So we just have to get us, it might not be 6 months, it might be 3 months. Getting everybody in the routine, and then
Yeah.
after they're in the routine, then it becomes matter of fact, you know?
Yeah.
Boom, your minutes are approved, boom, boom, you scan them, boom, and you send them off to Gene. You don't have to bring them or Gene or whomever that position is.
Yeah.
Okay. So great, sounds good. But I'll work with him on the money. end.
Okay.
Who's on that, who's working on that besides you and Mike? Anyone else?
Lisa
Lisa,
Grammer?
Lisa who?
And Annie Sterling.
Lisa Grammer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Liza Grammer?
Eliza,
Right.
yeah.
Oh.
And Annie Sterling as well.
Appointments. Thank you, Archie. Make a motion to make Margaret Spalding Walnut Hill Cemetery Graves Officer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion to make Margaret Dushman Register of Voters.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Council on Aging, Jacqueline Johnson. Motion, and Richard Preble as an alternate.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Before we move, I noticed, I mentioned this to Chris before, the Zoning Board of Appeals is, there's 5 people on the committee, and our bylaws actually say that they're 5-year appointments to appoint one every year. And I think past practice has been to appoint for a 3-year term, so we probably want to change
Change
that.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if we want to go and the person we just appointed for 3 years, make that 5 years, I don't know. There's obviously one open position for a full-time person and also for another alternate.
Okay, let's do all that next week. Update on the paid school handlers? Is there anything? They're all done and finished? Breathing, everybody's breathing well?
When do 2 others?
We received the bids on July
Yeah.
15th. The bad news is that all the bids, the lowest bid was $598,000, which is more money than we have
Far
budgeted
off.
for it. We originally had budgeted $538,000 to be for the floors and for the air handling system. Gary has spent an amount of that redoing all the floors, such that we were down to in the 529 or so range, and then we spent, as part of the architectural fees, 45. We had budgeted for that.
4,500 or 1,000?
45,000. And so now we're at that amount below. So
Okay. So what are we gonna, what's our next step?
our next step is that we're going to have to rebid it and basically put in, either we change the scope or do something, or we try to,
Okay.
put in for more money in the fall.
What did the engineers have any thought as to modifications, after you found out the bids? Did anyone talk to them and say, did they have any suggestions to maybe?
Like, hey, if you
Tightening it up.
if you modify this and you
Yeah.
don't do this, you really don't need it, it's kind of a luxury, but not, I'm just.
We
Yeah.
had, go ahead, Gary. We had,
What we bid is at the low end of the scale to start with, so there really isn't anything else to take out, anything we need to add.
Okay, so they didn't have any,
Okay, okay.
So,
Well, yeah, we need to know all this. Okay, is there another approach we need to take in this? Let's just blow it up and start all over? What are we gonna do?
Basically.
Well-
Huh? I think we need to do this.
uh,
One thing, hold on for 1 second, I wanna make sure that we're clear. The air quality up at the Page School is not in any way affecting any of the students or anything like that.
that's correct. It's a very minimal issue.
Yep, and-
Only once in a great while. It ain't nothing that's an ongoing.
Exactly, and we were told that we could probably remedy it by opening up a few windows.
That's correct.
Okay, so I want to make sure that is done, so we're not like saying that we have been sitting here on our hands and then we're gonna, the poor kids are gonna face another school year without these air handlers.
Exactly.
That's not the case,
Exactly.
and even I'm not gonna speak for him, but I think our building inspector said, it's not critical at all, but you guys need to work to some better solution, and as long as you're working with it, that's not a problem.
Yeah, the
Is that right?
facilities- That's correct. There's no issues up there with health issues with air
No.
or anything. Everything's fine, but
Okay.
it does need attention. The facilities manager's been on vacation, so I think he might have been back today. We're gonna regroup and see if we wanna continue the same way or we wanna try to do something.
Do you mind if I become part of that meeting and I can
Go ahead.
report back to you guys? Can you put me in that loop?
Yeah.
You mind? One afternoon, we can all meet and just,
Well, we're just kinda informally talking first, and if we come up with something, then we'll have another meeting.
yeah, but it may, yeah. But I think let's blow it all up and start over again. Let's do it, right?
well, we just spent $50K on
But I
a
mean,
design.
I don't think,
not yet. Not all.
Oh, not all, right, okay.
but I don't, I think, see what we can use on that. When I say blow it up, I say we need to maybe have another approach or just go at it and then we'll go at it, but we go at it and we stay at it until it's done. And it is what it is, I guess, at the end. I mean,
We need to, get going on it soon if we're gonna do it.
it ain't happening this summer.
Well,
That's
so,
what I'm
Gary.
It ain't gonna happen this summer.
Yeah, but we can't wait until November and start it, and we'll be in the
No,
same.
no, 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 no.
Ca-
What I'm
Gary,
saying
if we
is,
can't do it this summer, then is there any rush whatsoever? Do we have to wait for next summer?
well, we're gonna have to wait for next summer, but let's get everything
We
in
gotta
place
start planning
now.
now.
Right.
That's what I meant
understand,
about
yeah.
going, and we keep on going. So
Right.
why don't we plan, and then let's get something together and plan, the money that we already have in place, we'll offset it, hopefully, and we have everything done at our fall town meeting.
Exactly.
So then we're all in place, ready to go when we need to go. Maybe they can get in there and do stuff at Christmas vacation. Maybe they can do stuff on April, and who knows what to do. But everything's in place, locked, sealed, and barreled, so when those kids leave, it's done. Right?
Yeah,
Is
hopefully.
that, I mean,
Hopefully,
I'm
at least
totally on
we
board.
know better on the cost, we can do an article at fall town meeting.
it is what it is, but we know what we need to do, and let's just try to utilize the money that we've already spent as best we possibly can, and I think we can do that.
If the money had been no object, did you like this bidder? Would you have taken this bidder?
We never really got that far, it was so far over.
Okay.
There's nothing to really even,
Because I was thinking, you know,
Debate.
is like the second place is another 50K beyond that or whatever. I don't know, but I mean.
What was it?
No, there's two that were close.
Can you just make sure you
No,
both
there
talk?
was, no, it was one was $100,000 more than that, and the other one was about $20,000.
20, okay.
So,
I think the most expensive one was the company that actually did the heating system, I believe. Was it
No,
Vermont
no.
that even might have been second. He
no,
wasn't-
it was the guys from Boston who were the most expensive.
You know, Monty was second.
Second.
So do we feel that we got a good,
The interesting,
Cross-section of-
interest?
yeah.
Yeah,
The
you know what I
thing-
mean?
the-
That this is an advantageous job, or are we just getting people going, if we get it, for this, you know, there's a lot of times when people are so busy,
We'll
they
throw something
say,
out there and we can
if
make
we
a
get it,
killing,
yeah.
yeah.
When we did the site visit for the bidders, 2 showed up to bid on it, look at it, and those 2 didn't even bid on it. There's 3 other ones that never even saw the site actually bid on it. Well, of course,
That's-
Monty did, but they know the bill and they've been inside and out of it, so they knew it.
they're the ones who did the eating.
But it's probably a half decent number, because the bids, weren't that far off.
Okay.
They're all,
You know, I mean, you've seen a billion bids.
$500,000 job, 100,000 isn't that big an amount of difference.
Okay, so do you understand where we're at on this?
Yeah, well, I
You-
wanna
me-
definitely keep going and had to get it all ready to go, whatever we're gonna do, so it
Perfect.
falls into the timeframe.
Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
You?
Totally.
Okay, thank you. Signing of the Animal Control Officer's agreement with Newburyport?
yeah.
We just have to sign it? Do we have to vote on it, or we just sign
already
it?
did.
Yeah, I know, but anything else changed, or we just signing it?
It's the same thing.
Do we have to sign that in an open meeting? Is that why it's on the agenda?
No, I don't think
Okay.
you have to sign an open meeting.
Okay,
You've already voted.
okay, stop sign at Maple Ash in Georgetown roads. That was just something because I'm walking again, and without, I get stopped a lot, which is kind of good at this point because I can't walk the whole way without stopping. But that intersection is.
You get stopped when you're walking?
Oh, yeah.
If you run, they just wave at you.
Yeah, but
Did you walk all the way across Ash Street, across the swamp?
this body's not, no, this is the Georgetown Maple right there. It prompted something because there was an Ash Street sign missing off there, so the winter, and Gary says he's addressed all the missing signs, and he's taking care of that in town, and things are ordered. But I talked to Gary, called me about this. This was just, people blow through there. That's a major problem, coming out of Ash Street and taking a right onto Maple. So the stop sign,
Wait a minute, just so I'm clear. Which direction do they blow
you're
through?
coming from the swamp,
Yeah.
right there you stop, and you take a right to go to, on Maple. Right there, Maple stops, and that becomes Georgetown. That's why it's.
Right, okay, and so there's a stop sign there.
There is a stop sign. The stop sign's in the bushes. It's a smaller one.
Right.
It's really not painted there.
Right.
Gary said he's going to just clean it up, put a bigger stop sign. It's kind of in the bush. It's grown, and he's going to. One of the first things that the guy's going to come through and paint is going to be that area to slow people down, or even maybe put one on the other side. Whatever he knows.
No, we usually paint our stop lines once a year. I used to wait till we're done paving, then I have them come in, because I can't have them come in to paint 2 mornings. I gotta do it. We just opened the bids a week or so ago, now back Valley's.
You know, I'm saying you're going to do it.
Oh, yeah,
And
it's
he
all-
know- he's-
it's all
he-
in the works.
Yeah, it's in the works, and he's gonna, and maybe with future considerations, maybe in, Gary, he mentioned maybe we might need to reconfigure that intersection at one point in future years, but he's gonna take care of it as best we can now.
It is a little, yeah.
We have all that triangle land in the
Right,
middle.
right.
Instead of having one going off this way, one going off this way, maybe one in the middle, whatever, but he's got it in the back of his mind, and something we might wanna address in future years.
Okay.
Thank you. Make a motion to accept the minutes of July 13th as amended.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Anything
Aye.
else?
No.
Aye, unanimous. You have any questions? I saw a lot of yellow things on them.
Those
Or
weren't
some.
mine, no.
There was just somebody's signature, and I think there was a duplicate of a dues, but I'm
Okay.
sure they'll take care of it.
Make a motion, so if you could just look at that, Mike B. for us?
Yep, I'm writing that down right now.
Thank you. I make a motion to approve the invoice warrants.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I move to approve the payroll warrant.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain. Placing things on future agenda. I did not get, we had sent something out to the superintendent's office, I guess, on the paid school stuff. And I guess they spent a lot of time talking about it at a meeting the other night.
It was on your phone.
It was on my
Didn't-
phone.
It wasn't sent to the selectmen.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. And I guess he sent me an email, and I never got the email. He sent it to me personally and asked me to give him a call about it. And this was before the meeting that he had the other night. So Chris told me that this morning, because now he sent one to Chris saying that, hey, I wanted to talk to Glenn. He might have not got the email, so I'm gonna email him out tomorrow. Did you respond to him and say that Glenn didn't get it?
No, I didn't.
If you could do that for me, that would be great, just so I don't think, I don't know, it might have went into spam or something, I don't know. But they did spend a lot of, I was told, they spent a ton of time talking about it the other night, and nobody really knew why. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. We just wanted, I mean, it seems like we just wanted to know what they've done for maintenance last year, because their fiscal year ended, and what they're planning on doing this year. So that's what I'll say to him, and then I'll report back next week. I don't know why he wants, next meeting, I don't know why he just was asking for me. Did anything come up at the meeting?
They talked a lot about the facilities in general, the secondary campus a lot, and then
Yep.
exactly Jack Willett who brought up the handlers, and was concerned about that, and Chris was talking about it.
Yep.
That was mostly what they talked about the page.
Okay, so that actually prompts us to say something. We should inform, Chris should inform the superintendent that all the bids came in a lot higher, that we are very serious about it. There is no health risks at all up there, and that we're going to be diligently pursuing this, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to accomplish the goals of.
Chris Redden did tell the board that.
Yeah, but it might be better if it comes from us, you know what I mean? Say, because tonight we've talked, first time we've really talked about it.
And I know it's July 27th, we're saying that, but it really would make no difference if the same thing happened on May 1st, too. The bid's higher, and we have to wait till another town meeting to get more money.
Yeah. The bids just were too high. We have to wait
Right.
for another town meeting to be able to.
Doesn't matter what happened, it's too high.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not the diligence of the late, it's the bids were too high. That's, we're gonna have to readdress it and sharpen our pencils and maybe go back at fall town meeting.
Could you just clarify for me, who's giving you the bid that wound up being, who's giving you the estimate that wound up being too low? Where did you get that estimate from?
You mean too high?
No, I mean too low. Your estimate obviously was too low when you went to town meeting asking for
Oh.
what you thought it was gonna be.
Right, right, right.
Significantly higher.
Yeah.
I don't know who
I
that
don't
is,
know
but
where that
we'll
came
get
from.
you that. That sound fair?
Oh, you mean how we came up with the
Yeah,
initial?
That number.
The initial number?
Yep. Yep. We'll get you that, I guess. I guess I'm not running the meeting.
There was
Those preliminary numbers is when they were still at the school working and the contractors were there.
Mhm.
Please, where those numbers actually came from, the initial ones. So
Oh,
we,
so
so we,
it was part of the- it was part of the
from the
project,
initial
and it was
study.
taken off.
It was one of the things we just didn't do.
yeah, where
Yeah.
they were there, if they could have done it, they could have done it.
For that price.
But plus, we still added more to it than that, just in case it was more, but
It was the best, it was the
way more
contractors
than
that
we
were
thought.
there, and we were dealing with the best numbers we had at that time.
And then you didn't get to it, and then it was higher. Is that what happened?
It was,
It
no,
might have
no,
been
no, no, it's
higher
not that we
anyway.
didn't get to it, it was just, when we.
An
yeah.
estimate's an estimate, you
And
never know what
they,
the bids are.
hold
gonna
on,
be.
can I, I want to give the, whatever's gonna be in the paper. So we asked the contractors to give us the best estimate we could, so we go to town meeting, they gave us those numbers, and then when we went out to bid, the numbers didn't match our estimates, they were much higher. Yep,
Just to add one point to it, is that we got a follow-up estimate from our architects, which would have been, if they had, if that had been the price, we would have had enough money, we would have been able to go forward. It was,
Okay.
so even, it wasn't even the former one, but the current one that we got this year was sufficient.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to put on future agenda? I have
I-
one more, but I think we're all gonna.
I just want to keep, I mean, we talked about this last week. I still would like to schedule a date for a public hearing for no parking within 100 feet of the intersection of Whetstone and Sullivansport.
I thought somebody was getting all that in place and telling us whatever else to do. So whoever needs, okay, whoever needs to take care of that, which is not 1, 2, or 3, it's you probably or Mike. Whoever needs to take care of that, if you need to instruct Chris to say she needs to put it in the paper, what, if you can tell Chris what she needs to do to achieve that, do it, and then tell us what it is.
What has to be put in the paper? Do we actually have to put the language that we're going to vote on, or just that we're having a public hearing?
Just a public hearing.
Okay.
Just do whatever you need to do and make the public hearing one of our selectmen's meetings, but not the one that one of us are going to miss.
It's in September.
That's in September.
Yeah, whatever that's going to be. So do whatever you need to do. Okay, thank you. One thing I like to put on future agendas is how the cottage advisory has been a learning experience for me. And I'd like to, again, try to work with the boards and committees in town, because I want to have a better understanding of, and this is an example, of if the planning board puts conditions on their approval of the site plan,
Special permit.
the special permit, how are those conditions managed in a way that it's satisfactory to the town and the abutters?
Right, it does not affect the community, which is outside of their development,
Exactly.
which is what's happening.
Which is happening. So, for one instance is that in their order of conditions is that they have to have dust control. And that's not happening on some instances. And we're having an increased problem with that down there. So now, I need to know, why do you have those conditions down there if we don't have a proper management of it? I guess, you know what I mean? So I like just to know, maybe we could formulate a letter or something and ask them, or maybe talk to some board members, but it just seems to be, we're going back to the same thing again, that particular site is not, we're having difficulty achieving the goals, I think, that we need to achieve. I'm trying to...
And it's the same issues. It's the same issues that keep coming up.
Yes. So, did I say that in any way that I shouldn't have? I mean, right? I mean, because I'm trying to be diplomatic, I guess, in one respect, and on the other respect, that I look at this as a learning experience, because we have these large parcels of land that could possibly be developed that we need to learn from, and we're a small town with a lot of part-time staff, and why bother put any orders or conditions on anything
If you can't enforce them.
if we can't enforce them, or not even enforce them, monitor them in a
Right.
proper way?
Well, monitor and enforce.
Yeah, that would be a better way of saying it,
Yeah.
Joe. Right? So I'd like to, I don't know, this just seems to keep on rearing its ugly head, and I just don't want it to. Okay, anything else?
Good.
Okay, make a motion, we'll accept the correspondence of the police department's quarterly activity. Don't forget about National Night Out, right, on the 5th. No, is it the 5th?
Fourth.
The 4th, or Tuesday, yeah. because
Tuesday.
The 5th, yeah, I'm doing something on the, what else? Anything else I need to tell people about?
Movie night again?
Movie night, when's the next movie night?
I believe it's the 11th.
11th of August, which is a Wednesday.
The 11th of August is a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday. I know that's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday, I know it's a Tuesday.
It's a
One of my
Tuesday.
employees asked for it the day off, and I know it's a Tuesday because I
It
just
is.
had the conversation with them today.
Is that the night of it, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
What's the
yep.
movie?
Yes, it is.
Big Hero 6. Free popcorn. Screen's big. I want one. What else? Anything?
Nope.
Make a motion to go into executive session in the Selectmen's Office for Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions for contract negotiation with union personnel.
Second.
And,
Coming out only to adjourn.
correct. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.